Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. The channel is A Journey for Passion. I'm your host, Tony Mostello. And what the channel is all about is just empowering one another, helping each other through some things, sharing passions, and just life lessons. Real quick, before I go into what the show's about, my heartfelt apologies and prayers go out to two individuals, Christine Statham and Jennifer DeVoe, who've lost a loved one this week. My prayers go out to you and your family. Truly sorry. Today's topic, boundaries, setting them and keeping them. What are boundaries? Well, we live a life personally on a yes or no basis in our mind. Yes or no. And, you know, the last video we talked about flow. Be like water, flow. Well, as water's flowing, if we put up a boundary to that, that water will go around that and still maintain a flow. So what your boundaries are your personal yes and no's to people, places, things, to yourself. And setting up boundaries of, I'm not going to tolerate this, this no longer serves my purpose in life, so I'm going to refrain from this, or a yes to this. It could be in your personal life, it could be in your relationships. You need boundaries. And you have your own boundaries, but what happens is a lot of people are people pleasers, or we're the type of person that people will come to and they'll talk to, and you're always there for them. But there comes a time that you as a person, as an individual, need to set up boundaries. Not to say that you wouldn't help people or talk with them or communicate with them anymore, or help them through things. Or it could be just going out, dinner, drinks, a movie, whatever that is. But is it serving your calling or your purpose? What you're trying to obtain, or is it I'm going to say yes and then go, and then you're not pleased with it. You're upset with it. It's not what you wanted to do. So by setting up boundaries, you're stating, look, I'm no longer going to do this. I'm no longer going to do that. I am going to do this. I'm going to devote more time to myself this way. And what it is basically a self-care. What you will and won't tolerate. And once you start to do this and you've decided what your boundaries are, you can bet you're going to have some upset people, people that are standoffish, that don't understand because they're not used to these boundaries. And that's part of the growing pain of that, and how determined you are to continue on this path, whatever this path is that you have, or life in general, what you're not going to accept anymore. Make your yes be your yes, make your no be your no, and that's it, And so the biggest part of that is finding out what your boundaries are. So once you've established that, what you're not going to do anymore is stating that, following through on that. Talking with an individual today, a friend of mine, and it's funny how these conversations come up, and I didn't even mention, the show or anything, but she was sharing with me that she's a very outgoing person. So she's with friends, family, and she's got family issues she has to take care of, and relationship issues, and just friends, that she's continually finding herself saying yes to these things, even though she knew and stated that she knew they were negative things. But it was better to keep the negative things around because it was a way for her to voice out, when really, to quote her, people didn't really give a rat's ass about what she was saying. It became more about the other people. And unfortunately, when you set these boundaries, you're gonna lose some people in this, and you're going to gain some people in that. You're going to gain some respect. You're going to respect yourself. You're going to carry yourself better. You're going to be able to help those that are supporting you, or that you do go out to support, with the intentions of love and friendship, relationships, be it whatever it is, business. You're going to be a better you by setting these boundaries, because you're not going to be acting out of anger or disappointment that you really didn't want to be there. You're going to be acting on yourself, on behalf of yourself, representing yourself. And in that time that you're stating this, this will allow you time for self-care. And when I say self-care, a lot of people think about, well, exercising or what you eat. No, I'm talking about mental self-care. About people that are empaths or people that are people pleasers and empaths. Shout out to AJ Martinez, Cool Breeze. That's another show. Maybe we can get her on here. But when you're constantly supplying other people what they need and trying to fill their voids, which you're not going to be able to do that anyway. We've talked about that a couple videos ago, that it all starts within ourselves. But as people start to rely on you more and more, you're taking from yourself. So this is where the self-care is going to come in. Being mindful of what is important to you so that you can go out and help and be the better version of you, be it on your job, be it in your relationships, be it in your marriage, your everyday life. You have to take that time out to realize what is important for you. What are you no longer going to tolerate? What are you going to set to the side? And this is time for me to do whatever it is, be it writing, be it whatever it is. It's time to relax and be at one with yourself, have inner peace. The number two thing is stating that, following through. So you've established your boundaries now you're following through. And you're going to find that there are going to be, like I said, people that are going to go to the wayside, and that that's just the way it is. You can't solve anybody else's problems. Nobody else can solve your problems. So in that, by stating that, making this statement, saying no to this, and yes, yes, I can do this, but no, I won't be able to do it this week, maybe another time. Enforcing that for yourself, for your own self-care, for your well-being, your heart. And then you're going to get to a point where you're going to feel secluded in that. And that's your time. You're going to feel, well, I'm not really out. I'm not out with my friends all the time. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that I used to do. But this is the time that you need to take for yourself and reestablish what it is that you've put these boundaries up. What's your purpose, or why you've put these boundaries up to begin with. And in that alone time is where the healing can begin, where you can work or manifest on what it is that you're harboring or that you need to project. That being said, you might have to have somebody that you reach out to and just bounce this off of, that you've stated your boundaries and you still have this person in your life, a good friend, and if you can't talk to somebody like that, then see a therapist, or like I said, journal, write things out for yourself, because you're your own worst critic, but you're your best friend at the same time. And what I'm saying in that is, as you're writing these things down, you can go back and look at it and say, well, I wrote it down. This is, and that's just one way of doing it, journaling. Or if it's to the point where you got a fast-paced life, where your job involves being around a lot of people at a time, communications and this and that, do what you have to do it to the best of your abilities, but also maintain that time for yourself. Stay in, this is my boundaries. This is what I will no longer, I won't sacrifice this be a time. I will no longer do this. I no longer put up with this way that you're talking to me, or the way you treat me, whatever that may be for you. And like I said, you might have to reach out, you might have to journal, you might have to see a therapist and say, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. And you're going to stand out from people there. You're going to have people that are going to, like I said, be upset or be feel that you're being distant or selfish, but you're really building you, maintaining you, because you're of no help to anybody else if you're constantly feeding to a source out what you have and not feeding yourself. And there's a fine balance in that. That's why you have the boundaries. And you bind water up, the water's still going to flow around it. They're going to find a way or somebody else to talk to, or you know, like my friend had said to me earlier today. Half those people that I talked to, I kept these negative people in my life. I knew they were negative things or negative people that I kept in my life, but it was more convenient to allow that than to say, hey, look, these are my boundaries. We all have families that we deal with, our own families that we have to have boundaries on, or that maybe we're going against somebody else's boundaries and they need to put us in place. That's, that hand in hand. But being responsible now, and the third thing is maintaining that. Being responsible, with your own responsibilities, what it is that you need to do to make yourself that productive person, that productive wife, business partner, whatever that is, taking those responsibilities on, and also the time to allow that, so that you're not constantly in a feeding out. It's there's a flow, and then it comes back, and then you feed yourself, and then you flow a little bit, and you feed yourself. As I went in farther into the conversation with my friend, she had said it's a self-awareness. I knew that I was keeping these things, but yet I did it anyway because we become complacent. It gets easier to just and go through the motions. But if you're truly dedicated to something or a cause or just your own mental stability, for God's sakes, take that time. We're all individuals, and yes, we're here to encourage one another. But in that also, you have to take that time for yourself. We talked about the flow, be like water, encompass that. But at the same time, you need to be giving to yourself, loving of yourself. And the purpose for that is to what? To live a happy life. And you're creating a balance now. And yeah, maybe once balancing and then going to one side or the other, this is where the boundaries start to, you can't fade from that, because once you start to fade from those boundaries, just like a bunch of people pushing on a fence, they keep pushing, and you let them come back a little farther. More people come pushing, more things, more issues come pushing. Psh, there goes the fence, there goes the boundary again. And trying to reestablish that, you're going to be the craziest person of the year. That person never knows what they want, or, you're going to hear all kinds of crap. But maintaining it. Maintaining and staying in it. And then you will get to a point where you have a balance there. And the true people that are in your life, the people that truly love you and respect those boundaries that you have, embrace that. These are the people that you can reach out to. These are the people that love you for who you are, and respect you for who you are and what you stand for. They don't have to agree with you. It's basically, like they say, we agree to disagree, but that don't make me love you any less. Yes, you have this boundary, and no, I'm not going to cross that line, and vice versa. And in that, you're going to have a more peaceful, joyful, relaxed state of mind in life. So don't be afraid to set boundaries. Set them for yourself, for your own personal goals, your own boundaries that you give up for yourself. And that's where it starts, really. Once you start to bend for yourself, you're going to bend for everybody else. So love yourself, man. Put those boundaries up that you have to put up. And I'm not saying you got to have signs to put up there, but make your yes be a yes and your no be a no. And do it in love and respect and honoring the other person. And if that falls to the wayside with them, then so be it. But if it's that important for you to speak out and your soul's needing that, your mind's needing that, your heart's needing that, you need to do that. That makes a healthier you. You only got one you. We said that in the last video. There's one you. You got one life. Why be miserable? Sure, it's okay to help people out and encourage people, and I love doing it myself. But at the same time, you have to fill yourself so you can give. So don't be afraid to set boundaries. Put them up there, do what you got to do, stay the course, establish your boundaries, state them to these people, and maintain them. Maintain them, that's the most important thing. Because if you don't, you're going to live a people-pleasing life, and the only person you're not pleasing is you. And that ain't a way to be, man. That ain't a way to be. That being said, that's pretty much all I got for this week's show. Much love and abundance to all of you. To the people I mentioned earlier that had their loss and their family, my heart truly goes out to you. One more thing. The Facebook page is taking off. We got almost 200 likes on the Facebook page. So those of you that are on the Facebook page, much love. I appreciate that. You're sharing and putting in the comments below and commenting on the post. Can't tell you how much I appreciate that. But if you could, take a look at the YouTube channel and subscribe to that. Because my goal here is just to be able to make this take off so we're empowering more people, and to eventually be able to, through the abundance I'm given from you, the audience, the people that are liking this and taking the time and subscribing, to give out to those less fortunate, always keep that in mind, that, I'm no better than anybody else, but I'm different. I'm humble in who I am. And like I said, if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be great. That gives me the opportunity to branch out more, get more of the message out there. Like, share, subscribe. If you got any ideas for a show or topic you want to talk about, make sure to put them in the comments below on the video there. I love y'all. I wish you the best. Much abundance to each and every one of you. Good luck with your boundaries. Set those. I'm hoping, I got a surgical procedure next week. I'm hoping I'll be able to do a show. If not, I'm kicking around the idea of a guest speaker maybe coming in and doing something. Just let them free flow a little bit. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I hope I can talk them into it. That being said, much love. Let's take a journey for passion. Maddie Ray, I love you. I'm going to see you soon, baby girl. Been working on this. Poppy got to get some stuff taken care of, but I'll be out to see you soon. Everybody else, I love you. Journey for passion. Peace, love, abundance.